Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another tiny exploration rover. And this one sitting right next to me is called the Rambler C4WD, which is, well, an absolute teeny tiny vehicle that you go out about and scout for ore patches, do a light bit of transportation, and it even comes equipped with some atmospheric thrusters right below the vehicle, so you can use this to get up mountainsides, or even get up and into your ship, depending on if it needs to stay away from the ground. Got a reactor on here just to help out with the atmospheric thrusters, but we are primarily powered by batteries. Here's a little container at the back for you to store all the bits and bobs inside. There's the ore detector at the very top there. We've got some lights, we've got parachute hatches, so we are all set up with that. And we do have a remote control block, so if you did want to use this as a scouting vehicle without anybody inside, you do have that option. Come all the way down underneath this thing. There we go, there's all the atmospheric thrusters. And there's a connection point for the cockpit at the bottom. While we're here, we'll just go around like this onto the opposite side. There we go, an access panel right next to our cockpit. And then, of course, down to here, we've got ourselves a neon tube that comes across onto a camera. This is on both sides and it's purely there for decoration, but I suppose you could use it if you really wanted to. Say if you're falling out of a ship and you see how close you were to the ground, it's just there for a little bit of extra decoration. And there we go, so that's a brief look around the outside. Not too sure why I did it right there, but now we can press F10, find it in the spawn menu. This thing is only 91 small blocks. It does use a fair amount of the DLC packs. We also use a script, which is the driver assist script, which we'll go through in just a moment. But there we go, it's got one small reactor, 2 batteries, and it is intended for light planetary scouting and limited cargo transport. So go and give this thing a thumbs up. I'm going to grab hold of my character. What we're going to do now is just come around over to here. We're going to play with that, so we're going to open that up, close that up, come into this container at the back, load up a few bits and pieces, and we can go on our way. So into the cockpit, looking down, we've got all this gobbledygook on our screens, which is for our driver assist script, where we can see we can set waypoints, got our GPS locations, and as you saw there, it moved the entire vehicle, so it will automatically adjust this depending on the weight in the vehicle. The best way for me to showcase this is to come into third person view, look at it like so, press I, come to here, find the wheels, we're just going to select all of them, and then we're going to put the strength all the way up. As we can see there, the vehicle is now raised all the way up, because it's now, well, it's got maximum strength. If I was to let go of that, you can see that the script is now taking control of it, and is now pulling it all the way back down to its optimal strength, which is what it was before I changed the setting all the way up. We'll come back into here and just look all the way around, that's all we can see. So it's standard cab cockpit design, which is an absolutely fantastic cockpit for small vehicles, and these are the controls we get for it. So number 1, number 2 is for our parachute hatch if we get into a bit of a pickle when you say using our atmospheric thrusters, jumping off a cliff, or say we got deployed from a carrier nearby and we just need to drop down to the surface without needing the carrier to land itself. We then got number 3 for our atmospheric thrusters, where as you can see when I turn these on, press spacebar, we can lift all the way up, but we are maxing out power, so that's why that reactor is on, because we have to turn off the reactor. It's not going to be enough to actually utilize them. Yes, if you don't have access to uranium, then well, you can just forgo the atmospheric thrusters. Turning them off and press number 4, that's simply your gyroscope controls. So you want to do some maneuvering while doing a jump, make sure you can land it safely, that's there for you to switch it on. Number 6 then for your ore detector, right above there, so you can go out and about and scan for ore patches, report it back to your ship, report it back to your mining ship, and of course mark it for future expeditions. Number 7 is for your interior lights on top of the vehicle, turn them on and off depending on what you need. Then number 8 is for your batteries, switch them to auto or recharge. It will drive it around with just the reactor power, perfectly fine. Putting on our thrusters, we cannot take off, so we need to have them both together to actually make use of them. Of course, turning off the reactors, turning off the atmospheric thrusters, driving around, we see we've got a couple of hours of power, which is perfectly fine, although it does seem to max out the power slightly as we were to move it around. I did see it there flick to 100, but it seems perfectly fine without the reactor, just for some light exploration. But yes, as for that, what I'm going to do now is put on the reactor, and now we're going to drive this thing around to see how it handles. In fact, before I drive it around at high speeds, what we'll do is a tight turn, so here we come all the way around, that's what it looks like. It really wants to tip over with this, so if you're going to do a tight turn, you want to hold down Q as well. I'm holding left and Q, so the gyroscope is being engaged. It's actively fighting me, but it is perfectly fine at driving around now, and it's not going to flip over. It would turn right, do the same. There we go. It would get a bit more speed. It would come up to about 30 meters per second. Now suddenly do a turn, hold down the gyroscopes as well. It does jitter around quite a lot, but as you see, we're not going to flip over. Completely different story if I wasn't to hold down the gyroscopes. In fact, we'd turn that off. I'll do it one more time. You come all the way around. It's going to very, very quickly flip over. Although it's not going to now, because the one that actually showcases, it seems to be firmly on the ground. Coming to a stop once again, doing a tight turn. Yes, you'll want to have your gyroscopes on just to make sure it doesn't do that. As we're driving forwards on this flat surface, we will be able to go up and above 100 meters per second because the skybox allows it. We are capping out at about 36 meters per second, which is perfectly fine for a small land vehicle. This is a very safe range, or generally being under 50 meters per second is perfectly safe for any old vehicle. But as for this, it seems to be doing perfectly well, although we are slowly creeping up and up and up. I'm not sure if that's the script kicking in, allowing us to go faster and faster because we're on a flat surface, or is the skybox, say, overriding the vehicle controls. But here's a big jump. Landing down, we did a little bit of damage because the atmospheric thrusters do stick out just a little bit below the vehicle. Coming across here, and then say switching on the atmospheric thrusters, pressing spacebar, up we go, over this cliff edge, turning off. Oh, I'm not too sure what's actually happening here. It looks like we are flipping over. I can't control this for whatever reason. Try and switch on the gyroscopes. Oh, it looks like the gyroscopes have been destroyed. That's what got blown up underneath the vehicle. We'll drop it down one more time. There we go. I'm not too sure how the gyroscope got destroyed, because when we look at it from underneath, we've got atmospheric thrusters, but the gyroscope itself is well protected, so I'm not too sure what happened there. But anyway, back into this, turning off the thrusters, under the parking brake, driving around once again. Here we go, past all of that, and well, flipping it over. Hopefully I can control this and actually get it back to where it needs to go. There we go. Now we just drive this around once again. Yes, as for its actual proper performance of this vehicle, it does very well for a light exploration vehicle. We're nice and fast, we scoot around, not too much of a risk of flipping over if you are playing safely. We've got a little container on there so we can store a few bits and pieces from a trade station, bring it all the way back. Say if you're in dire need of some large steel tubes, or you want to sell some large steel tubes, maybe put one or two in here and get yourself some space credits. As for the defense, we're going to be relying on speed to get away from your enemies. And I think that's about it for this vehicle. I think we saw it in the workshop, it looked absolutely tiny, and is absolutely tiny. There'll be a link to its description below if you decide and play around with yourself. Highly recommend you do. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.